In early 1945, the Allies faced Germany's last great barrier, the Rhine River. A direct assault would be deadly, so commanders needed a way to outsmart the Germans. Enter Operation Plunder, a plan to cross the Rhine near Wesel, but only if the Germans could be distracted. The Allies turned to a secret weapon: deception. The 23rd Headquarters Special Troops, later known as the Ghost Army, were masters of illusion. Their mission: impersonate two entire American divisions, 30,000 men, with just over 1,000 soldiers. Using inflatable tanks, sound effects, and fake radio, they aimed to convince the Germans an attack was coming elsewhere. Inflatable tanks, sound effects, fake radio. The German army, exhausted and desperate, was still dangerous but vulnerable to trickery. If the Allies could sell the illusion, the Germans would move their forces away from the real crossing. The Ghost Army's performance would decide the fate of thousands. This was not just a battle of strength, but of imagination. The gamble was on. Could a phantom army turn the tide of war? The Ghost Army's Rhine deception was codenamed Operation Viersen. Their task: make the Germans believe 2 U.S. divisions were massing near Viersen, 10 miles from the real crossing. If successful, German troops and artillery would be drawn away from the true attack. The Ghost Army was a unique mix: artists, sound engineers, designers, now soldiers of illusion. With just 100 men, they had to mimic the presence of 30,000. They set up camp along a 10-mile stretch, staging the arrival of fake divisions. Every detail mattered: vehicles, uniforms, even fake command posts. Under German observation, a single slip could expose the ruse. Their tools, visual props, soundscapes, and radio chatter, all woven into a seamless act. The entire operation depended on their ability to fool the enemy's senses. The Ghost Army's deception was a masterclass in stagecraft. Inflatable tanks, jeeps, and artillery were arranged in convincing formations, moved at night to simulate activity. Soldiers played roles, driving in loops, wearing division insignia, and being seen by locals who might inform the enemy. Fake command posts and dummy telephone wires added to the illusion. Sound was their secret weapon. Powerful speakers blasted recordings of tanks, trucks, and bridge building. Day and night, the sounds matched the visuals. Arrival by day, construction by night. Sonic engineers calculated placement and volume for maximum realism. The goal: create a battlefield that looked and sounded like a massive army was ready to strike. To German eyes and ears, the threat was real. Every detail, from tire tracks to shouted orders, reinforced the lie. The Ghost Army blurred the line between reality and fiction. The Germans had no idea they were facing shadows. The deception was a carefully orchestrated performance. While props and sound set the stage, radio operators added a third layer: fake communications mimicking real divisions. They copied the unique Morse code fists of actual operators, sending streams of false messages. Meanwhile, the real divisions moved north in silence. Timing was everything. The illusion had to last just long enough to draw German forces away. The Ghost Army ramped up activity, then, on the eve of the real crossing, unleashed a fake artillery barrage. Amid the chaos, they packed up and vanished, leaving only confusion behind. The Germans believed a huge force had crossed the river. In reality, it was all smoke and mirrors. The Ghost Army disappeared as quietly as they had arrived. The Ghost Army's mission was high risk. With only 100 men, they invited enemy attention, knowing a real attack would be disastrous. Their only defense was secrecy and skill. Working near the front, often at night, they faced constant danger. One mistake could be fatal. They operate alone, unable to call for help without blowing their cover. Their work was grueling, hauling heavy props, setting up sound equipment, and acting as soldiers, all in harsh conditions. Recognition was impossible. Their victories were silent, their heroism unsung. The pressure was immense. If the Germans saw through the act, disaster would follow. Yet their courage was in their creativity and nerve, not firepower. They endured mud, cold, and exhaustion, knowing the fate of thousands depended on their illusion. The Ghost Army fought a different kind of battle, one of wits and nerves. Their greatest weapon was the enemy's belief. Operation Viersen was a triumph of deception. Captured German records showed they fell for the bluff, moving elite divisions and artillery to face a phantom threat. The real Allied crossing met far less resistance, saving countless lives. The Ghost Army's creativity turned the tide, proving that imagination could be as powerful as firepower. Their story reveals that war is not just about strength, but about cleverness and psychological warfare. For decades, their achievements were secret, their impact hidden. Today, we remember them as pioneers of military deception. Their legacy: Sometimes, the most powerful army is the one that isn't there. The Ghost Army's victory was not in destruction, but in illusion. They remind us that thinking differently can change history. Their story is a testament to the power of human ingenuity.